I had to restart it because the stream dropped again. It's unfortunate. It was going so well. Hopefully people come back. Again, I must have been I was talking about the wrong thing. No, I'm joking. But it's saying it's streaming now. Red Rose is back. Yep, awesome. I was just about to check my Instagram because I just saw someone was going to say there was going to let me know. So hopefully people come back. It's really sad when that happens because we used to have these really stable. I just got the message. We have these stable. Sky's back. Awesome. You know, so there must be some technical issues or something. You know, so that the same thing that happened yesterday. Must be something wrong with the internet. There is a thunderstorm, but there was no thunderstorm yesterday. Awesome, MJG's back. But it's like now it's saying there's only 2. So Red Rose, Skies. Oh no, we got 4. Awesome. Back and beautiful. That's awesome. I'm sure you are too. I have this negative self-image, and you know, people say comment on my looks and say nice things. I appreciate it, and I don't know how to take it because I have this negative self-body image, but I love it. So thank you. I'll take that. I appreciate it. I love it. So Are You Sure's back as well. Skies, MJG's here. We got 4 people in the chat. I think Resonant Reflections dropped out as well. Well, everyone dropped out when I stopped the. So I guess that's awesome. You're all good, bro. Awesome. But that's so I love how you're doing a course, Sky. That's really awesome. Like that's what it's all about. Like I found so much I got out of doing courses, and it really helped me this year. And now I'm doing I'm reading books on trauma and healing. But courses are really good because they put you through studying. You know, we just finished the nonviolent communication course this week. I was doing, and that was really good. Nonviolent communication is amazing. It's something that everyone should learn in school, grade 1 or 2. It should be taught all the way through schools, and it's just a better way to speak and listen, and it takes practice because we haven't been taught to speak empathically, you know, as a society. So it's good to see we've got 6 people here now, so I think everyone's back in the chat. There's thunder in the background here now. It's a pity, like the microphones for my computer here aren't that good, so you won't be able to hear the thunder. But it's pretty full on. We did get rain, and guess what? I've got clothes on the line. Every time I've got clothes on the line, it rains. It's not too many. It's like it's half a load of washing, and it's dry too. If I went and got it off the line, it'd be fine now. Are You Sure's back? Says hi. Everyone's saying hello to each other again. That's awesome. Yeah. Sky says, when people say they have a bad back, I say, you should see my front. So you're just like me with that stuff, Sky. You're just like me. So yeah, I'm like that's the stuff I say. I say that stuff. That's classic though. But you know, and that's why I thought it was funny when I did that balancing stream the other day, where I was walking along tops of logs, and I was looking, and you can just see how much weight I've put on, and it gives me a reason to get fit again. But at the same time, I've been overweight for most of my life, and it was a big thing, and something I became comfortable with. It's also, like I've mentioned in other streams, body image is a big thing, and it's painful because everyone's beautiful, and I put myself down, I do it all the time. I've got to get better at that. Oh, not better at it, better at not putting myself down all the time. Yeah, Red Rose says Sky, and then Sky says he. It was pretty funny, Joe. I'll actually I'll use that one myself. So if I hear someone say that they've got a bad back, I'll say I'll use that. I'll say you should see my front. Sometimes it, and I've talked about this as something that I do is like I grew up with the trauma made me a people pleaser, and I'm learning to break that. I still have that as a thing, and self-deprecation is a big thing. So I would make fun of myself in front of people on purpose to stop bullies from making fun of me. I don't know if you can hear a sound, but it's raining pretty heavy now. So it's pretty awesome. So we are getting rain. Red Rose has got the laughing, the tears from the Sky's joke. MJG's got the same, got the full laughing face. Red Rose says, I can hear the thunder. Awesome. If I opened the door, you probably hear it even more. But I shut the door just so my neighbors don't hear me talking. They'll be like, who's he talking to in there? Sounds like he's talking to himself. Red Rose says, yeah, I have on my awesome headphones and they pick up everything. That's awesome. So you can tell me how quality the sound is, I've got a better camera, which I could probably plug into my computer. If the quality of the camera and everything, it's more about the chat, really, isn't it? I can't make myself any prettier. It'll make it worse. In fact, it's probably better that it's a low res camera for me. Sky says, I'm built for comfort, not for speed. I'll write that one down. That's a good one. I just wrote the other one you said as well. Oh yeah, awesome. Red Rose says I can hear the rain too. It sounds incredible. Awesome. Red Rose says wahaha. Sky says I have luscious hips for a guy. There you go. I've got the luscious lips, not the luscious lips, the luscious hips as well. I've got a adrenal body type. So I got I'll draw it. I'll draw it for you. Very quick sketch. So you see, I've got the man boobs. That's the front, bit of a belly, but then I've got like the hips. That's the hips there, and then I've got no bum. I've got a flat bum. So and then I found out that's like from all the stress hormones that were expressed in my body growing up. So it wasn't just food and things like that. It was the stress. Got someone new here, Jamie Knight. How you going, Jamie? I'm not sure if you've been to the chat here before. Maybe you have. But yeah, welcome. And so you must be in America if you can't sleep and you're here because it's in the middle of the night in America. I wish, yeah. Jamie says, hello, everyone. I couldn't sleep and here I am. I wish it was raining here. So you must be in a dry part of the States. Sky says, hi, Jamie. Red Rose says, hi, Jamie. Jamie says, with the hearts and with the stars. Are you sure? Says, hi, Jamie. MJG says, hi, Jamie. It's awesome. It's good seeing. It's always good when there's someone new. Sky says, my beauty is next level, out of this world. Think supernova. There you go. That's awesome. See, that's the way to think about it. Jamie says, I was studying hormones just a while ago with the heart and the face, like the smiley face. But I don't know what that emoji is. It's sort of like, yep. I like to, but I get what you're saying. You know, it's just like, wow, I was just doing that. I'm new, but evidently supposed to be here. Lol. Yeah, that's it. Awesome. You are meant to be here. Everyone who joins the chats, like, it's like the universe brings us all together, and the YouTube algorithm is a big part of it too. So the YouTube algorithm helps. So it does work. It's connected some really amazing people together here with this, and so Sky says, oh wait, no, before that, Jamie says, yeah, the plains of Oklahoma. Thank you all. Awesome. So so there you go. So you're in the plains of Oklahoma, so maybe you don't get that much rain there. I thought Oklahoma is like really lush farmland area as well, though. But Sky says, okay, enough silliness from me. Keep the silliness up. That's always good. You know, I try and be silly. That's what I love about these chats. We, you know, like I have these serious conversations, and then like talking about pain and stuff. And sometimes we all do, but like we also have these fun, silly, happy, joking around stuff going on, which is awesome. But it's good. And Marina's here. Awesome to see you again, Marina. Marina's got the heart. Red Rose says hi, Marina. Sky says cheers, Red. Marina says hi, Red Rose. Red Rose says Marina. MJG says hi, Marina. Jamie says I have phobia of technology and have been stepping out of my comfort zone. Lol. Yeah, I sort of do as well. So I for like 6 years, this was my phone, and I've just switched to a smartphone after 6 years. So don't be afraid to, like, you're in good company here, technology is scary, like electronic stuff is scary. There you go. There's more thunder. The beauty about this, Jamie, is you can have this chat and you can be somewhat anonymous in that, like, and I'm the one here. It's, with my face here, so it's good that I think it helps allow the people to feel comfortable they can chat and talk. Yeah, that's it. Jamie says, I understand for sure. I've got major anxiety and I have trouble going out in public. So, but I can do this. Marina says, hi, Luke. Good to see you. Good to see you too. It's awesome you were able to be here. Marina says, MJG with the hearts and the roses. Sky says, I'll go crazy silly like a crayfish. Some say shellfish bastard. That's hilarious. Do it. Sorry, I just burped. That's me being rude. I didn't mean to do that. You know what's funny? There was all the hearts flying in the thing, like, and then as soon as I burped, the hearts stopped. So it's like that's what happens when you. That's funny. Sky says, "Good to hear, Jamie." Jamie says, "That's fantastic. I'm natural hermit." Yeah, but it's good. Like, and that's what I love about these chats too. Is we can chat. Resonant Reflections is back. Awesome. It dropped out before Resonant, so it's good to see you back again. But I think it must be computer issues here with my computer, and yeah, or the internet or something. So I'm really glad you're back though, Resonant Reflections, and I'm really excited when you told me you're going to study what you're going to study in that. So I'm really excited you've made a plan for your future. So everyone congratulate Resonant for like working on what she wants to do for her career. I think that's really special and it should celebrate it. And that's, when I sort of came around to working out what I wanted to do for work, like I was really happy about it. Like I was like, this is so good because I finally worked out what I want to do. So That's awesome. MJG says, so funny, Sky. That's it. Red Rose says, Jamie, I understand I'm off and on the internet. I come and go. MJG's got the laughing. That might have been when I burped. Sky says, cheers, MJG. Red Rose says, resonant reflections, yay. Glad to have you back. Red Rose says, Sky, you crack me up. Yeah, totally. Actually, I've got to write that one down as well. People say I'm crazy, like a crayfish, shellfish bastard. Shellfish. Actually, going back to the topic of courses, I watch a lot of Doc Snipes videos. This American woman, she's a psychologist, and she's got lots of courses. She's got a website, and they're really cheap. They're only like $5 each to do a course, and she's really thorough, and she knows what she's talking about. So if you haven't seen Doc Snipes' channel, check it out. She's just really wise, and she really talks about a topic thoroughly, and she talks about not just the main part of the topic. She talks about the other things that are associated with it, and she does a lot of live streams where she has question and answers and things like that. So she's really awesome. But yeah, like I plan to do a few of her courses because they're cheap. So yeah, that's it. Resonant Reflections knows Doc Snipes as well. But Jamie says, congratulations. And that's for Resonant. Resonant says, thanks, guys. It'll be long, but hopefully I'll become a psychologist. I can help others. That's so awesome. I reckon you'll be so good at it too. You already got so much knowledge, and you've already got your basis, and so it's like an extension of it. I reckon you'll be the best psychologist. You know, I think you're going to help a lot of people in your career. And it's sort of good because you're not stuck in doing research. Like, you can get with the neuroscience and all that, you can end up in research and not actually get to help people directly. But you're going to be able to like really affect people's lives and help people. So that's awesome. Resonant. Oh no, Sky says congratulations, Resonant, and Resonant with the total Riz. That's it. Red Rose says, Jamie, I feel you. Oh my gosh, I'm a hermit, a true hermit these days. Yeah, totally. Me too. Yeah, that's it. We're all like, it's good. I'm trying to break out of it, but it's going to take me time. I'm doing a first aid course this week, so I've got to go do that. So that forces me to go spend a day with people in a room. When I did the mental health first aid course, that was really good. I had high anxiety, and like I got through it, and I look forward to like doing the first aid course this week. So this is regular first aid, CPR and airways, breathing. What is it? Like airways, breathing, resuscitation. I've done first aid courses. The last one was like ages ago now. I'm trying to think when the last one was. Yeah, it was a while ago, 15 years or something. That's how long. It's amazing how time flies. Don't redact before I read it, because I think it's, you got a joke there. I want to read it. Because yeah, that's it. This guy says, "I have a risky joke. Don't redact it yet. I've got to read it." If you want one, okay. Resonant Reflections. Oh no, wait. I'll read the joke now. What's the difference between a seedy bus stop and a crab with a boob job? One's a crusty bus station and the other's a busty crustacean. Oh, that's awesome. That's a pretty funny joke. And it's pretty tame too. You know, it's not like overly, it's not overly offensive. That's classic. Red Rose says, "Resonant Reflections. This is so phenomenal. I'm so very happy and excited for you. This is incredible." Red Rose says, "Sky," with the MJG says, "Google Translate Sky lol." Yeah, that's it. So MJG, like, I thought you spoke English, like, or is that, or are you making a joke there? Because I know you mentioned about your English, and I thought you spoke really good English. So, um, okay. Oh no, you did the lol. Okay, now I get it. You get it. So, I don't know whether we have to translate it Dutch. Yeah. Okay. So I'll explain it. I'll explain the joke. Like, a seedy bus stop is a bus stop that's got like alcohol and cigarettes and broken rubbish smells, and it's dirty. So seedy means dirty or messy. Like, seedy is like the rough part of town, and there's a smell, and it's rubbish and drunk people and people on drugs. So that's like seedy. And if you feel seedy, this is another Aussie word. It's like, oh, I'm feeling seedy today. It means you're not feeling well. So if you drink too much alcohol, the next day you feel seedy. But seedy can also be a place. It's like a bar that's like got smells and smoke everywhere, and everyone's all drunk, and so that's what seedy means. And then, so a, a bus stop. What's the difference between a bus stop with a seedy bus stop and a crab with a boob job? A crusty bus station, the other a busty crustacean. So crusty means seedy. Crusty is another Aussie slang word for rough, um, not nice, messy, stinky. Um, like when you imagine like a bar at 4 a.m. and everyone's all drunk and they're all like hunched over, and they're all. It's just that's crusty. That's seedy. So I'm doing the Google Translate for you. So it's like crusty means seedy. So that's it. Word art. Sky says Sky's a word artist. Yeah, that's a really good joke. I like that one. Sky says, should I redact? No, that you don't have to. That was like totally within terms and conditions. I reckon it was a pretty harmless joke, that one. I thought it was quite funny, actually. MJG says, now I know. Lol. That's awesome. MJG's got the crab emoji. Sky says, danger response, always breathing, resuscitation, compressions, defibrillation. That's it. So I've got to do the theory side in the next 2 days or 3 days, and then I've got the practical on Friday. So yeah, that's good. So by the end of the week, I'll have 2 first aid certificates. So that's good. Gives me something I've got to actually do, like force myself to get through this. Red Rose says, yes, resident reflections, you're a blessing. And just think of the impact you're going to have in this world. You already have a big impact, but now that number can be multiplied. Absolutely. I reckon Resonant's going to be the best psychologist ever. So good. And you're already qualified. You've just got to do the practical stuff, and that's why it takes years, because you've got to spend all that time working out the system and how it works and all that sort of stuff. MJG says, yeah, but can read English, not every word. That's it. And you're not expected to understand Aussie slang too, like crusty and seedy. So you've learnt 2 new words today, seedy and crusty, and they both mean pretty much the same things. And sort of when you think of crusty, like it sort of comes from like you think of dried up crusty bread that you don't want to eat. It's sort of like that. So I think that's where crusty sort of originates from, like dried up bread that's no good anymore. MJG said crab is also dirty. So that's a slang word for, yeah, there you go. I'll have to look that one up. I didn't know that was that's the thing. They all have, and it might be to do with the shape of the shell or something. But also crabs are like the little lice that people get as well. So crabs are dirty in that sense. So people use it like, you know, it's like I actually saw a thing the other day about how important crabs are. You know how the mussels and shellfish are really important for the ocean and rivers and stuff. Crabs, especially hermit crabs, the little tiny ones that live in shells. The amount of like material that they recycle, like organic material, they're really important for the ecosystem of the ocean. the hermit crabs, and it's funny, we were talking about we're all hermits. A lot of us are hermits here, in this. So Jamie, you're in good company as far as that. Like we're all friendly people that have got things going on in our lives, and we're healing and learning to get through it. So it's a good, friendly sort of. We do support each other and enjoy these chats and have fun as well. So it's great, and especially for me, like totally not getting out of the house, and I'm sitting here in front of the computer on the internet. But it's like I'm comfortable to do that. It's weird, you know. And I used to be a public person, and I've, once you break away from social engagement, it's really hard to re-engage. And that was actually something really confronting in reading the the polyvagal safety book, and learning more about that, and sort of really making sense now, where um, people's body language affects you, whether it's anxiety or complex trauma or emotional abuse or narcissistic abuse. You'll be susceptible to people's body language, and I I get that a lot, and that, as far as like it's a trigger for me. And then, so a big part of polyvagal theory is it's about safety. So the they use a term which it's basically body language, but it's called neuroception, which is um, you pick up through your senses, whether it's your eyes or your ears, um, or touch, but it's essentially mainly your eyes or your ears, and you're reading the other person, and you will go into a state of fright or freeze or fight, like, or one of the main responses, emotional or like states. And it happens so fast. So it happens faster, like, because it happens on a subconscious level, even before your conscious mind is able to process. Your subconscious mind's already reacted through the nervous system, and that's why it's so crucial for what they call trauma informed practitioners. So, like, if you're dealing with someone who's gone through trauma, and you can, it can be the smallest thing that you do will set them off. And this affects everyone, like people who've got ADHD, complex trauma, PTSD, emotional abuse, anxiety. Everyone really is affected by it, and everyone experiences neuroception. And the thing is, it's there's nothing really new about it, as far as it's always been there. It's just the modern theory talking their way of explaining how it works, and it makes sense, like, when you when someone behaves a certain way, you feel threatened, and everything is everything can be a thing. I scratch my face all the time, right? And I'm wipe my head of sweat, and I scratch. I've got a nervous thing where I'll scratch. You watch the videos, you'll see me do this all the time. And if someone does that intentionally, that can be triggering. You know, I'm not doing it intentionally. It's just it's like a nervous habit. I'm not actually itchy. Most of the time, I'm not actually itchy. It's because I'm sitting in front of a camera and I'm nervous. Sometimes I've got sweat, like I'll do that and that. But I'll be sitting here and I'll be scratching my beard and I'll be scratching and stuff. And then I'll look at the video and going, and I know I'm actually not itchy. It's nervousness, and it's amazing how. So that's a separate sort of reaction to what I was talking about with neuroception. So it can be that, and this is talked about a lot with people who suffer complex trauma, and it's either the tone of the voice, and this goes across like people who've experienced again, like I said, anxiety, ADHD, depression, everyone, like all of these all pick up on this. So tone of voice is a big thing. Sharply changing your tone of voice and talking in a, like, whether the tone of voice is calming or confirming, or whether it's inquisitive, or whether it's disconfirming. Like if the tone of voice is like, oh, so that's what you say, really? Oh, like if someone starts talking to you like that, it'll put you in a state of anxiety. And so narcissists actually use things like tone of voice, and they use body language to attack people. People do it subconsciously as well. So people learn these habits, but especially facial expressions is a big one for me. So certain facial expressions will trigger me big time, and that's what I've read in a couple of books as well. Is that there's, there'll be associated facial expressions that trigger major trauma responses. Same thing with voice, tone of voice. Someone who normally talks like this and then suddenly changes their tone of voice when they turn and talk to you, can just be a massive thing. And it has this, even before you've had a chance to work out what's going on, your body's already gone into shock, and it's like diverting blood flows, expressing cortisol. And on the other side, speaking not the mother's and the father's voice, but especially the mother's voice, speaking calmly to the child, is a confirming safety thing. So that's why tone of voice and body language are major things that can trigger people's reactions. So once you become hypersensitive to these things, it becomes really difficult to train yourself to know that you are safe. And this is why babies cry, as well, because they sense danger, and then they cry out for their parents, and then the parents come and calm them down. So it's I was talking for a while there, so I've behind on the chat now. Red Rose, yes, got the Everyone's loving your joke there, Sky. That was a pretty good classic joke. And I remember the last time you had like a joke and you were like, no one got the joke. And was it the two elephants and it was boom, boom. And that was the joke because you were like, no, scroll up the thing. Two elephants fall off a cliff. Boom, boom. And I think that was the joke. And because I remember watching the live stream back and I was going, where is this joke? And then I was like, there it is. So Jamie says the heel or bottom feeder, known to some, then they're needed for the ecosystem. Yeah, that's interesting. See, there's another slang, not slang word, but like a colloquial, we call it. Like it's a word that's associated with a place, local area. So bottom feeder is, we use that word here as well. And so that's like fish as well. So the fish that live on the bottom of the river. And it can be shellfish as well as fish and crustaceans. But I haven't heard the heel before. So that's interesting. That's a new word. So the heel. So it makes sense too. Like if you look at the human body, like the heel is at the base. That's very important to keep yourself upright. We forget how much, if it wasn't for our heels, we would be falling over all the time. Sky says, yes, clown. Yeah, that's it. No, that was a good joke. I liked your joke. We all did. It was. Resonant says, I'm an introvert too. I like to interact, but it just not too much. Yeah. Yeah. I concur with that myself. I used to be more extroverted and then became more introverted over the years. But I was always introverted, even from a young child. I was like I had friends and stuff, but then I had a couple of friends that were really nasty, and everyone has those experiences. But like I had good friends as well, but as a child, I was happy to be alone, and it's just how it was. So even though, yeah, I think that again is something that you develop. Like you develop sensitivities from a young age, and then as you get older, you either break those sensitivities or they become reinforced, and you keep in that. So I think my whole life I've sort of been introverted and extroverted, but not so much extroverted. Like I'll be extra loud in a public place to counteract my anxiety, if that makes sense. And so like I'll be really loud at a party because I'm anxious about, too many people being around. But then if the atmosphere is comfortable, I'll calm down and then I won't have that problem, and I'll be able to just be steady. If that makes sense. This guy says, I speak fluent nonsense. I'm going to write that down. I've written down heaps of things you've said tonight, Sky. This is awesome. That's a great quote. I speak fluent nonsense. That's brilliant. Red Rose says, resonant reflections. Yes, I'm an introvert, but come across as highly extroverted. Yeah, that's it. Isn't that amazing? That's just like what I was just talking about. Jamie says, I love alone time, probably a tad too much, honestly, and why I work from home and homeschool my daughter after lifelong CPTSD. Yeah, well, see, that's it. You've got a safe environment there, and you're able to work from home and homeschool your daughter. That's awesome that you're able to do that. It's really good. And obviously you'll be thinking about her as she grows up, um, like social engagement that is friendly, and it's not going to like um, have she's not going to get negative experiences from it. Because yeah, that's a big thing. I think homeschooling saves people from adverse childhood experiences that they experience at school, because there's so many. Um, and then you have to find the balance so that they get to socialize. And that can be, you've already thought about this stuff anyway, but that can be doing music or theater or like sporting things where they're mixing with people from their age group and getting to have friends. Um, but then they don't have to go to a school which is hundreds and hundreds of other people, and have to be in this whole mix. So I think you can do it that way. You can. I think school is a confronting thing when there is so many like kids. Like there was like 1,000 people at my high school, and it's a lot to deal with every day, you know. And all the different grades, they all got different stuff going on, and avoiding all that would be. I reckon you'd finish school like in 5 years earlier, doing homeschooling. And things like Steiner schools are similar. Like they've got much smaller numbers of people at the school. Um, but that's really good, Jamie, that you're able to work from home and also be the teacher for your daughter at the same time. And it helps you with your CPTSD because you got a safe environment for yourself and for your daughter, and you've got work, and you've got, you're busy. Keeping busy is a big thing. So you got two things going on. You're not just working, and you're not just a parent. You're also like teacher, and you work in a job as well. So that's a lot you're working with. So that I commend you for your tenacity, because that's what it's about. It's finding a way to work with it. So I want to help people with CPTSD, especially, and like also people with anxiety and depression. So I want to start a nature therapy or ecotherapy practice with mindfulness. And I know that I'm not going to have major anxiety because I'm only going to be working with one or two clients. I might do like larger, like do group sessions where you've got like 5 or 6 or 10 people you take for a bushwalk. Um, But if it's only just a couple of people, I've got no worries about any anxiety, because it's just like, and also the people I'm going to be working with are most likely got anxiety themselves. So we can empathize and go, it's all cool. Like, so it's something that I worked out that I'm going to make it work for me, and I'd already done that where I worked for myself for 4.5 years. And that was because of problems with working in work environments and stuff. So yeah, if I can do this, work for myself, small number of people, I'll have no problems with the anxiety of that. And just large numbers of people, excuse me, that's sort of scary, will cause anxiety. Sky says the same. Sky says, I too am introvert, yet seem extroverted. Yeah, I think we all have that common thread here, which is, it's really nice that we're all found each other and we can empathize. And Red Rose says, Jamie, I completely understand. Jamie says, I understand exactly what you're speaking on. Thank you. We're all on the same wavelength here, right? It's great. Because I think complex trauma really does that to you. It causes you to, you're forced to be in your own company because you fear social interaction, certain types of, depending on, because everyone's trauma is different, but generally it's, interpersonal. So you've been hurt by people rather than situations. And it can be combined with situational as well. So like, I'm not situate like there are other factors. So other factors that contribute to the fact that you want to disengage from society to a point, but you don't want to completely cut yourself off from society. And it's not like it's not like you've lost trust in everyone. So it is complicated to, but I think we all understand each other here completely. And it seems like everyone in the chat here is, we're all the same. So it's pretty awesome that we can have this conversation too, because we can understand each other, And that doesn't, the beauty about that happens is it happens because we feel comfortable to do it, and we've expressed enough information about ourselves to actually talk about what we live through. And that's amazing, because it's like we all understand each other. So it's like implicit empathy. So we all just don't have, like, we had to have the conversation to talk about it. But then once we realized that, we probably realized that the reason why we're having such a great conversation is because we're all comfortable. And that comes back to the fact that we have a shared connection, in that our social interaction is aligned. Red Rose says, yes, very hard to re-engage. I do prefer to just be at home now, though. When I go out, I get what I have on my list and get right back home, come right back home. Yeah, I do the same. It's just, when I go shopping there and back, and I haven't gone shopping for a while. Um, Jamie says a lot of people are uncomfortable around me because of my eyes. No, ticks. Yeah, that's sad that happens, man. You know, it's confronting with something like that. So if people, again, um, people have this reaction to different differences, and some people just can't comprehend differences, and that it becomes uncomfortable for them, and it's really sad because they might not actually be meaning to react that way. It's a reaction that they can't grasp, and again, it comes down to the slightest difference in people is confronting for a lot of people. So, and you've obviously, you understand that, how it's just sad that's the case, and it's just, I get a similar thing myself, but it's not. I think it's to do with the way I act. You know, I got to take a toilet break, but like I'll be back. This chat's going really well, and I've taken a while to catch up to the chat. So when I get back, I'll speed read through all the comments. We're having a great chat tonight. Yeah, no, it's really awesome chat tonight. Um, I'll add a few hearts to the sky as well. I love it. Yeah, Sky says that's good. You get to homeschool your daughter, Jamie. Yeah, that is really cool. And working from home at the same time. Red Rose says, yes, it's very hard to re-engage. Oh, no, I read that one, I think. I prefer to be at home now, though. Yeah, when I go out, I go get, I get what I have to on my list and come right back home. Jamie says, that's right. I read that one as well. Yeah, with the ticks. And that's really sad, you know, it's people's reactions to things. It's um Sky says, I would see everything as a threat, but now I'm aware that I'm in that headspace. That's awesome. See, and that's what doing these courses, Sky, is going to really help you. So, and that's a big thing about the whole becoming trauma informed and learning polyvagal theory and all this stuff. It all makes sense. And, you know, the thing about polyvagal theory, it's just an extension of all the knowledge that was already there. So, um, neuroception is just another name for intuition, so like you read body language or the tone of someone's voice, and so it'll either affect you instantly on in your body, or you'll cognitively be able to recognize it. And so this is the same thing with empathy, which is like what they talk about in nonviolent communication, is that someone who's an active listener will realize when they've said the wrong thing, and they can actually correct without doing much. You can let the other person know that you didn't mean harm by what you said, because it's so easy to say something that actually can be hurting someone. And so recognizing that someone's in distress while you're talking to them, you can actually calm them down and let them know it's safe and you didn't mean any harm by it very easily. And it's the absolute opposite that what narcissists do. So they actually do the opposite. Like they say things to hurt you, and they read the body language and the tone of voice, and that's how they know they've done what they wanted to do. So it's amazing how these things can be like. And it happens with that stuff. I've experienced that a lot in conversations where I'm halfway through saying a sentence, and I realize, I've said the wrong thing. And then but just by acknowledging the fact that you are aware of the fact that you spoke the wrong way or said the wrong thing, the other person then realizes, look, they didn't mean what they said, so I'm not going to get upset by it. So it immediately puts that person back into a state of safety and they feel comfortable again. So it's a big learning curve with me with all this stuff, learning about narcissistic abuse and narcissists and emotional abuse. And this is my social engagement right here, which is chatting like this. I really appreciate having these conversations, and tonight's been amazing. We're really talking about some really important stuff. Resonant. Oh no, wait. I think I skipped too far or not. I will try and catch up. I just keep going off on tangents talking about stuff. Because when I get back to the chat, like, I'll be reading stuff that everyone was listening to me talking like 5 minutes ago. So there is this funny thing with it all, but it all makes sense. So I will try. What I'll do is I won't respond to anything. I'll just read the chat and catch up, because everyone was having this conversation, especially while I went to the toilet. Hopefully people were still chatting. Yeah, Red Rose says, I pick up on other people's energy so strongly as a deep empath, it overwhelms me. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's and having a more switched on nervous system and more sensitivity, people can't understand it. They don't understand it, but like it's a magnifier. So it's like you look at a telescope and you look at how different, like when you put a different lens on the microscope or a telescope, the magnification from 10 times to 100 times, how massive that is. That's a great way to explain to people the difference between feelings and people who don't feel feelings and emotions. So this guy says, I find it hard to fit in as I'm pretty awkward socially. Yeah, I can empathize with that. And you know, learning from this book, it's not true empathy if you just go, yeah, I know how you feel, but like I'm literally sitting in my bedroom and I'm not comparing. See, that's again, this is such a valuable stuff to learn nonviolent communication because it really breaks down empathy so that you think about how you speak to someone because so to use that in that response, Sky just said, I find it hard to fit in as I'm pretty awkward socially. So for me to empathize with that without um, judging or comparing, I have to say it in a way that I'm not like if I just say, oh, yeah, I know what you're saying. I'm sitting in my bedroom right now and I've hardly left the house for months. That's not empathy. That's comparison. And I'm like, that can actually make the other person feel more upset because they're not being heard or listened to. Um, so in a situation like that, I'll give you an example. Like for me to express empathy to that is to say, um, you know, I understand that can be quite painful and difficult to deal with being socially awkward, you know. But we get to have these great conversations. So, you know, I see that um, you in the right environment, you can feel comfortable and um, but it's not easy to be in social situations. So yeah, it's hard. You got to think about what you say, um, because I often do the same. I often do that. Someone says, "Oh, I broke my leg," and then I say, "Oh yeah, I broke my arm." You know, like you're just comparing, or um, you know, if someone you can go the other way, and so you can what they class as violent language would be to put the other person down. So they say, "Oh, I broke my leg." You say, "Oh, why'd you do that, you silly person?" You know, like what you weren't looking where you're going. You know, so another thing is not showing empathy. It'd be someone says, "Oh, I broke my leg," and you go, um, "Oh, you know." I understand. Like I that must be painful to have to deal with that. You know, I hope that you're not in too much discomfort for too long with it all. Um, it's simple, but it's complex. You know, but it's easy to say the wrong thing, and it's easy to go too far with going the wrong way with it all. But you can one good way of empathizing is just to like basically you can empathize in silence. You can just be like, show the emotion physically, and just be like, you know, you don't want, like, but then you again, you can go the wrong way and say, you know, oh, I feel sorry for you, and it's like, that's not empathy, you know. So if someone's got a broken leg, you can say, oh, look, I can see that you have to deal with this cast on your leg, and it must be difficult to have showers, and just getting around the house, like we take for granted being able to walk, and then suddenly we can't walk anymore. Like, you know, sometimes you can empathize by saying you can't empathize. So you can say, I've never broken a bone in my body. I couldn't imagine what it would be like, you know. Um, and in that case, you can say, look, I feel for you in this situation, and that is empathy. So I'm really appreciative that I got to do this course, and I'm going to keep doing learning NVC. Um, it's amazing, and it's basically, you're thinking about your you don't make demands. You ask a request. If you want someone to help you or do something, if you demand something of them, they'll say no. So, but in order to ask for the request, you have to empathize with them, and you have to work out what their needs are, and so that their needs are based on feelings and emotions, and you got to do it without judging. So I'm sorry, I could talk about VC for ages, but I love it. I really love it. Like, I'm so glad I've learned this stuff, and I've only just started it, because you know it's been a journey. I wish I started the course halfway through, but we're going to continue as a group once a month, I think, next year. So we're going to meet once a month and practice how to communicate. And conflict resolution is a great thing. So, you know, you can solve. It's amazing in this book. Like, this guy, Marshall B. Rosenberg, who created this whole system over his lifetime. He solved so many people's problems, but you'd have a couple that might have been fighting for 30 years, and all it took was to listen to each other, and listen to their, so it's expressing your needs. So if you're speaking to someone, you want to express what your needs are clearly, and if they can't hear it, you need to say it again in another way. So it's amazing. Like, it really does work, and it's non-violent. It's peaceful. It's all about resolution, and it can be used for making people happier, and also like conflict resolution. So, warring tribes and like gang warfare and stuff. Like this guy who Marshall, he traveled the world for like 30, 40 years, I think, teaching this stuff. Um, yeah, he worked on some major stuff to solve disputes. But it comes down to simply expressing your needs and listening to other people's needs, and then acting appropriately. So Um, there's a lot of people think they're empathizing, but they don't. They're not actually empathizing. They're saying something that actually makes the other person feel worse, and they don't realize it. So it's amazing that I'm guilty of that myself. I've spent most of my life not knowing. I've sort of naturally had empathy or empathic stuff, but being able to express it is a really powerful thing, and it empowers you as a person because you can have you can be in a difficult situation where someone's got a lot of power over you, and they will listen to you if you can accurately express your needs to them, your wants and your needs, and then they can once you know that they know what your needs really are, then they can appropriately make a decision. And that's why arguments keep going back and forth, because people aren't listening to what each other needs. And so with conflict resolution, you have you really have to. There's 5 principles for it. Like, I could go on about this stuff for hours, but like with conflict resolution, you really have to break it down into what each side has a problem with, and you have to make it clear that each side knows they understand what each side has a problem, what their need is, and then you have an actionable solution, something that you can actually do, that both parties can do. And it works on all scales, from like 2 people up to like countries at war. So I'll stop talking about NVC today. I love it. It's amazing. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful way to speak. I'm I'm learning it. I think everyone should learn it in school. It should be part of the school curriculum from grade 1, and then introduced through, like, so by the end of high school, people are experts at it. Everyone will be just so much better. But if I don't know, maybe if it was taught in a way that they didn't actually have to think about it as a subject, it was just natural. So sorry, I just got um, off on a tangent then. I started talking about MVC because it's such an awesome thing. So, but yeah, empathy can be shown with silence as well. Just sitting there in silence, and just, you don't even have to say anything. Just acknowledgement. So it'll take me a while to catch up on the chat because I've been so slow. So Red Rose says, Jamie, just be yourself. Yes. Sky says, I tell jokes to feel less stress. I do the same. I sort of, but except I do a little bit worse. I like make myself the joke. So that's self-deprecation, like, in order to submit. Sometimes it's actually good. Like, if I can be funny, it actually, people appreciate it. But if I'm doing it to, like, put myself down, it doesn't, it's not, doesn't serve me. So I'm learning not to do that so much anymore. But it is healthy to be able to not take yourself so seriously as well. That's good to be able to do that. Because I flick from that. Like, switch. So, like, um, I'll make jokes about myself, but then I'll get very self-conscious if someone says something personal. So I've allowed them to say this. So it's very difficult. This guy says, pretty sure my box was either returned or lost in the postal system. Oh wait, that's awesome joke. Because I misread Rose's joke. Sky, yes, I'm not in the box or outside the box. I don't even know where the box is. Sky says, yeah, I'm pretty sure my box was either returned or lost in the postal system. See, that's a great way to actually, you're not really putting yourself down in that situation. You're making light of something without hurting yourself. I think the big thing is like making fun of yourself can be positive if it's done in a way that you're not going too far with it. Resonant Reflection says, tone of voice, huge trigger for me. If they have a firm tone, I will freeze before I even realize it. Yeah, that's it. See, that's how far behind the chat I am. That's where I was when I was talking about tone of voice. Jamie says, you're also good for my senses. Thank you. I struggle to relax because of my work and I'm literally laying here completely calm now. Awesome. That's really good to hear. And I guess um, that's a big benefit too when I get to the chat and I read out the comments is that people can sit back and listen and they don't have to like read as well. But you can do that as well if you want. So it gives you the opportunity to do that. Red Rose says resonant reflections. Oh yes, that's it. With the voice, tone of voice is totally. And it's you pick up on it so quickly, but you can become even more heightened with your senses too. Like um, you'd be more heightened with that. And I know that they in a book I read on polyvagal theory where they were talking about how um, activating the the nerves in the ears helps people with social engagement. Um, so that's a really interesting thing, and I know I've got uh, I'm currently got tinnitus, which I've had for a while, and I want to learn how to somehow make it better because it's not nice. Um, but it does affect how you can engage with people. And Jamie says, you're all so. Oh, no, I read that one. Red Rose says, Jamie, you're in a group of loving, caring, compassionate, open minded, non judgmental people right here. I'm sending you a big hug. Sky says, no, there was another joke you missed twice, but you'll like me to type the joke in one more time. Yeah, do it. You probably. Oh, well, no, not compared to like, it won't get me censored. Sky says it may get you censored. It can't be that bad, can it? Jamie says, gratitude, Red Rose with the hugs. Jamie says, you're describing me and what happens with me a lot. I'm an elemental 5 masculine, 5 feminine. Both are in intro and extro. Sky says Luke's stealing my shit. That's it. I've written it down. I'm stealing your shit right here. That's classic. That's good though. I get to go back through the books and I go, "Oh, what's this? Oh, that's right. Shellfish bastard." That's classic. Um, Jamie says, "Yeah, I raised three children who are now grown, and they were raised very differently than my 5-year-old now. We joke that we are at 5 going on 50 in our house, and we live like bachelorettes a bit." That's classic. See, that's the thing. Like, you're getting to educate um, as the teacher. Like they they can become like a university level intelligence um, within so many years because mostly teachers have got 20 or 30 students that they've got to, and then you have multiple teachers in high school, so it's even more diluted. So as they learn, you can keep teaching them more, and they become super smart. I remember my thing was I had my parents got encyclopedias, so I think I can't remember what age I'd given up with school, and I was just like, I don't have to like worry about what they're teaching me at school. I'll just read the encyclopedias, and I used to just read, go through the whole lot, and it was amazing. And that's what the internet is now, except encyclopedias are safe. They don't have all the bad stuff. So that's a big difference between then and now. Encyclopedias also too were written by the victors of wars, so they would write the way they wanted. So historically, not everything's accurate. Um, that's why encyclopedias revise. So you can go back through older editions and they'll say one thing, and you go back through 50 years later and it says something different. So this guy says, I'm like a pie chart, 20% lawn chair, 30% hipster, 40% giga squid, 10% unsure. That's quite a pie chart right there. Resonant Reflection says, school is horrible. What a what a waste of time it was. I love to learn, but I didn't like the small talk, the loneliness, or the face. Oh, sorry, the fact that bullying and gossip and all in need to fit in. Look, that's a really great comment, and I, I totally agree with everything you said there. I've said similar things with that. Like it's such a waste of time, and the agony that you go through, wasted opportunities. You know, bullying is a big thing. That's a really sad aspect of school. Like I I remember like grade 1 and 2, kids started bullying each other, and they were bullying, and then it would get more intelligent as the kids got intelligent, and then they stopped doing it after a while, and people became friends. But then it started again, as they got through adolescence. That's something I noticed, and the same thing happened in high school. Um, After a while, people stopped bullying each other and got along, and then became friends. And then in the final year of high school, people started bullying each other again. But by then, it wasn't such a. It was different. So it's like they go through different phases of bullying. but it was always there the whole time, you know, and such a waste of time. I totally agree. Sky says school was truly terrible for me personally. Yeah, I got a feeling we all got the same sort of similar experiences with school. And I've talked about this in a lot of my streams, difficulties with school. And, you know, there were also good times. Jamie says, I love it, Sky. Red Rose says, Jamie, 100%. Red Rose says, Sky with the tears. Jamie says, you're an amazing gift, and that's fantastic. I work one-on-one with clients now in small groups. Awesome. Well, that's it. I think that's how far behind the chat I am. Is that's when I was talking about what I wanted to do, and and the same with Resonant Reflections. She wants to be help others. She wants to heal others and be there for them. And lived experience is a great thing. Red Rose says Resonant Reflections. I feel the same way, same exact way, exact same. Red Rose says Sky, me too. Move around a lot. And school was just simply torture for me. I understood and related more to the adults than I did the kids. Red Rose says, y'all, it's because we're all old souls and we see and feel safe differently. We come from the heart and soul base. Jamie says, I call it sacred space. MJG says, yes, we all have to deal with something that feels good because I'm not perfect in this life. That's a really good comment, because you got to find something like that. You got to find something that makes you feel good and something that you can be connected to, or even make it your own, even if it's a solitary thing, you know. Like for me, it could be going and watching the sunset, and I do it on my own. And I don't feel lonely. It's like that's something for me, you know. Um, but I mean, it's not really like that's the thing that makes me feel good. You know what I mean? So being in nature when I can. So I'm going to try and do that more often. Um, but yeah, I appreciate what you're saying there, MJG. It is difficult, like being different, having differences. And then you see all the people that don't have problems, you know, and you know, I get that status anxiety when I see stuff. And you know, Instagram is great, but then like I feel like I'm a failed artist, and then I scroll through Instagram and it's just all these people making all this amazing art, and I feel like I don't feel jealous, but I feel sometimes it's inspiring, you know. But at the same time, I try and make it inspiring, you know. And you also got to look at the reality of those things. Is it's inflated. So there's only a few people out there that are really getting to be in the spotlight, and really most of us as artists are not in that situation, you know. And me saying that, I'm sitting here looking at a poem I wrote the other night. So it's like I am making art. It's just, I think the trick is not to get worn down by the fact that other people got it better, and be humble, and then at the same time still be inspired by other people's stuff. So it's not easy though, is it? Um, this guy says, I just want to go back to my home. Yeah, I hope things sort out for you, Sky. A Shaw says, I went to 5 different schools in different cities, and it didn't help me grow healthy, safe interpersonal relationships. I enjoy this community. I appreciate that. Are you sure? Like, you know, we've had some great chats, and it's because of you too. You're part of this community, so it wouldn't exist without you. So I'm really appreciative of you and everyone else. Um, we get to have these special, comfortable moments where we get to have these conversations that really not many people have these sorts of conversations. Hey, and it's amazing how much we're all alike. You know, we do have shared experiences. So Australiana Maid's here. Awesome to see you, Australiana Maid. Um, Australiana says, "Hi Luke. I hope the night is cool and you have had some joy in your week to assist in rewiring. My brain, I've weaved 800 wreaths. Wow, 800 wreaths. Each line coiled around my arm is one online I'm counteracting." That's amazing. That's amazing therapy you're doing there. I get what you're saying. Wow, you're really doing the healing work there. That's really powerful what you're doing. It's like turning it. You're really you're that's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and it's amazing. It's like therapy just making the thing, but like having like a it's not it's like magic what you're doing. You're putting there's a meaning behind it, and it's really special. And that's a lot of wreaths too. That's like 800. That's awesome. And then I wonder what you're going to do with, like, you're going to make it, you can make something with them, or you can give them away. But just the act of doing that is really special. Sky says, thanks, Jamie. Sky says, who wants a risky joke? That's right. I think, am I that far behind? Oh no, I'm still catching up on the chat. But I talk too much. But I guess that's okay with everyone, because the conversation just keeps flowing. Jamie says, hugs. I felt those words. I do know. MJG says me, yes. Sky says, with that, MJG It's got the hugs and the skies. Says okay, MGG. And then I missed out. I took too long, and then the joke got redacted. That's all right. I don't want to be cause of like stealing your shit. NBC program. No, NVC. That's it. Yeah, nonviolent communication. Look it up on YouTube. Marshall B. Rosenberg. He's a dude from Michigan, and he made it his life work as a psychologist to make the world better. He's one of those people that really has made a change in the world. So there's heaps of videos on YouTube about NVC, or nonviolent communication, and I'll do some streams about it actually. If people are happy to join a stream, and I'll explain what I know, and we can even practice it in the thing. So this is the workbook, and the workbook's full of like exercises, and you know, you can work through this on your own or with a group, and you know, it's amazing. So there's, you know, like so there's feelings and faux feelings, and look, if once I start with this stuff, I'll just keep going. But it is amazing. It's so powerful. MJG's got the heart. Are you sure? Says, oh, thank you, Sky. Sky says, all good, are you? I don't know if Australiana's still here. I listened to your song. I don't know if you saw the comment. It brought me to tears straight away, and I just cried for half an hour listening to your song. I listened to it over and over. So, you know, that's probably one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in my life. So, hopefully you're still here and you're hearing that, because I'm so far behind the chat. I don't know. Resonant Reflection says, what happens if you don't agree with each other? Yeah, if you don't agree with each other, you keep going. So yeah, you keep, so and sometimes you might have people who are in like separate rooms, and someone has to go and bring notes between the people because they literally won't speak to each other. It's so you can not agree with each other, but once you identify common needs, once you identify what the other person needs, and then they've listened to you and they know what your needs are, and you've expressed fully what your needs are, and acknowledged them, then you can offer a solution to it. So you can compromise, and the compromise is, it usually happens automatically. It and sometimes it takes a lot of back and forth, but as soon as both parties have been able to express their feelings and their needs, and the other side has listened to it and responded and acknowledged their feelings and needs, then they can then it sort of happens naturally that a compromise will just occur. And that's with conflict resolution, actionable solutions. So not something that you can do 5 years from like what politicians say. Oh, we'll fix this, and then they never do it. It's got to be actionable solutions, and that's what will stop the conflict or the argument, and something that can be done straight away by both parties. So both parties have to do a bit, and Aisha says, "I need to grow up and I feel MVC is something that I am aware enough to learn." Exactly. Well, you are. So I'm sure you are aware enough to learn. In fact, the beauty of it is it really is. It is simple. Um, it really is simple. Just if you read this is the book, and it's really well made. The book itself's got educational stuff through it. Um, and it goes through chapter by chapter, and then increasingly over time, you there are difficult aspects to it, but then the beauty of it is you keep working on it. Just like language. You keep learning how to speak better. Guy says, I think that's the process to connect at a level of understanding each person needs and wants. That's exactly it. It's so simple when you think about it. You know, um, I look forward to actually reading some bits out of the book, maybe, and do some more explanations of it. There's plenty of like on the net. There's heaps of like heaps. So if you, especially if you watch any of the videos with Marshall himself, because he created this, so he's probably the best person to try and explain it. And but yeah, I'll save it for another time because I'll just keep talking about it. I won't stop talking about it. But Jamie says, yeah, communication is number one issue I see within humanity. I agree absolutely. Aisha says, so difficult for me because growing up was chaos and had double meaning, not a safe environment. Mixed messages are really painful to deal with. So it has an effect on your cognitive, emotional, and your nervous system. It affects everything. It's amazing how. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to venture into martial. That's it. Are you sure? You're going to love it. It's really awesome. So you know, um, it really is worth buying the book or the ebook or audiobook, but you can also venture into it just with YouTube videos. So there's so much out there with YouTube videos, but the book is really well written, and like they have, how sometimes books do these things, little paraphrases. So when you're reading the page, you read what's in the box, and then as you're reading the page, you've got that in your mind, and then it makes it all. Um, it's amazing, and in the book, he just uses real examples of how it's used and where it works and doesn't. That's that's awesome that you're going to get into it. A Shaw says so difficult. Oh yeah, I read that one. but yeah, no, double meanings and mixed messages is causes so much. Um, Sky says safety issues important to be seen, heard, loved, and encouraged. To are you sure? Yeah, that's it. So that's a brilliant comment. Like it's fundamental, isn't it? Sky, no, are you sure? Says Luca. Appreciate how you advocate about MVC, and it's given me hope. Awesome, thank you. Well, I got to do this course through the Carers network, and so I got these books for free. They sent them in the mail for free, and it's been life changing for me. I tell you, like, and once you watch, um, like, it, if I had something like a page to read. Look, now's maybe not the right time, but like, it works. It works for everything. Like, you know, um, even like a woman. There's a story about a woman in a 24-hour drug rehabilitation drop-in center that had like someone come in who was like violent and threatening to to um to hurt her, and she just said the right thing. She empathized with the person, and the person just went, "Oh, okay, now it's okay." Like, and he's literally worked with warring tribes in Africa, and he's worked between like Israel and like Palestine and or some country, but he's worked with lots of this guy's traveled the world to solve arguments. He's that good, you know. They're like, and sadly he passed away of old age, but he's when you watch his videos, you'll see how much of a kind person he is. And another big thing about it, like there's NVC first aid, and so you have emergency first aid where you either have to express to someone the situation or you actually say it to yourself, and it's really powerful because you can be, and this works with trauma and stuff, because you can be in a really difficult situation and then you can use the first aid to calm yourself down. Or if the situation is so upsetting to you, rather than getting angry, like, so you can express anger, but you have to do it authentically. And you express anger and it's still not violent. So it's amazing. So like it's so I love it. And I love that you're gonna, are you sure you're gonna, like, because it's using words for good. It's really. And are you sure, when you're learning this, email me, and if you want to practice, we can like do practice, do a phone call or something, and then practice talking, and it's so with NVC, like active listening, when someone's telling you something, and this is especially clear with conflict resolution, is if someone's asked, like, if someone's got a problem, you need to find out what their need is. They might not actually tell you what it is, and then you have to like ask enough questions until they finally say what they really need, and then you go, okay, now I know what your need is. Can I help with that? So it all works in both directions, whether you're the one talking or you're listening to someone. I love it. So yeah, this was a life changer for me this year. Learning mindfulness and nonviolent communication have been the major things. I still have troubles myself with communication. Like I say the wrong things, but I'm still learning. We're not perfect, and that's another part of it too. Self-compassion, caring for yourself, not judging. So you don't judge others, but you don't judge yourself too. So you go easy on yourself, but you still have to try, or you work on things. But um, yeah, Sky says it exactly. I think it's the process to connect to a level of understanding person's needs and wants. That's exactly it. That's the main thing. And it really is simple when you break it down, and it just gets more and more complex when the situations are different. So that's exactly it. There's clarity in the horizon. It's amazing how much things become clearer once you, because even if someone can't express what they're trying to say, like, you can ask the right questions and eventually you'll find out. And the beauty about the book is it uses they're all real world examples across all different stuff, and you know they're all applicable. I'll Yeah. Can I read a little bit? I'll read an example. So this is NVC in action. A wife connects with her dying husband. So a patient had just been diagnosed with an advanced stage lung cancer. The following scene is at his home, involving the patient, his wife, and a visiting nurse. Represents a last opportunity for him to connect emotionally with his wife and discuss his dying before being admitted to the hospital. The wife began the conversation with the nurse by complaining about the physical therapist who was part of the home health care team assigned to her husband's care. The wife says she's a bad therapist, so that's judgment. Nurse says listening empathically to what the wife is feeling and wanting, says, are you feeling annoyed and wanting to see a different quality of care? So even though the wife said a judgment, the nurse was able to work out. So by saying someone's a bad therapist, even though it's a judgment, you can then work out, okay, so your need is, or what your feeling is that you're wanting to see a different quality of care. Then the wife says, she doesn't do anything. She made him stop walking when his pulse got high. Nurse says, continuing to hear the wife's feelings and wants. Is it because you want your husband to get better that you're scared if the physical therapist doesn't push him? He won't get stronger. He won't get stronger, question mark. And the wife starts to cry. Yes, I'm scared. So the nurse continues, are you scared of losing him? The wife says, yes, I've, we've been together so long. And then the nurse says, listening for other feelings behind the fear. Are you worrying about how you'd feel if he dies? See, that's a really good thing because there's these underlying things that, she's stressing out. It's not just because of the care, it's the fact that the person's dying, So, um, the wife says, I just can't imagine how I'm going to live without him. He's always been there for me, always. So the nurse says, so you're sad when you think of living without him? Question mark. The wife says, there is no one else besides him. He's all I have, My daughter won't even talk to me. The nurse says, it sounds like when you think of your daughter, you feel frustrated because you wish you had a different relationship with her. The wife says, I wish I did, but she is such a selfish person. I don't know why I even bothered having kids. A, a lot of good that does me now! Exclamation mark. Nurse says, sounds to me like you might be somewhat angry and disappointed because you want more support from the family during your husband's illness. The wife says, yes, he's so sick. I don't know how I'm going to even get through this alone. I haven't anyone, not even to talk to, expect with you here, now. Even he won't talk about it. Look at him. The husband remains silent and impassive. He doesn't say anything. The nurse says, are you sad? Wishing the two of you could support each other and feel more connected. The wife says, yes. She pauses and then makes a request. Talk to him the way you talk to me. So because the beauty of the nurse is using the language of listening and like listening, active listening to what, and then it's responding back so the other person knows what you're. So she goes, yes, please talk to him exactly how you spoke to me, because they're in this difficult situation. And then the nurse says, um, the nurse wishing to clearly understand the need that is being addressed behind the wife's request. So you take time and you contemplate. You don't try and solve it straight away. And says, are you wanting him to be listened to in a way that helps him express what he's feeling inside? The wife says, yes, that's exactly what I want. I want him to feel comfortable talking, and I want to know what he is feeling. So using the nurse's guess, the wife was able to first become aware of what she wanted and then to find the words to articulate it. This was a key moment. Often it is difficult for people to identify what they want in a situation, even though they may know what they don't want. That's a really important point. So it's separating out what they, and they might be saying what they don't want. So you've got to work out what it is that they do want. And then we see how a clear request, talk to him the way you talk to me, is a gift that empowers the other person. The nurse was then able to act in a way she knew to be in harmony with the wife's wishes. This altered the atmosphere of the room as the nurse and the wife could now work together, both in compassionate mode. So the nurse, turning to the husband, says, how do you feel when you hear what your wife has shared? The husband says, I really love her. The nurse says, Are you glad to have an opportunity to talk about this with her? The husband says, yes, we need to talk about it. The nurse says, would you be willing to say how you're feeling about the cancer? The husband, after a brief silence, says, not very good. The words good and bad are often used to describe feelings when people have yet to identify the specific emotion they are experiencing. Expressing his feelings more precisely would help this patient with the emotional connection he was seeking with his wife. And that's the biggest problem is the husband and wife are it's very crucial. He's about to go in hospital, he's going to die, and they're not able to communicate. And so the nurse says, encouraging him to move toward more precision, says, are you scared about dying? The husband says, no, not scared. Notice notice the nurse's incorrect guess, but don't hamper the continued flow of dialogue. Because the nurse continues, the nurse goes, um, because his patient is, the nurse isn't saying this, but this is observing the situation. Because this patient isn't able to verbalize his internal experience easily, the nurse continues to support him in the process. So it's sort of ongoing inquiry. And so the nurse says, do you feel angry about dying? The husband says, no, not angry. At this point, after two incorrect guesses, the nurse decides to express her own feelings. Well, now I'm puzzled about what you may be feeling and wonder if you can tell me. The husband says, I reckon I'm thinking how she'll do without me. The nurse says, oh, are you worried she may not be able to handle her life without you? The husband says, yes, worried she'll miss me. The nurse says, she is aware. The nurse doesn't say this. This is what she's doing. The nurse is aware that dying patients often hang on due to worry over those who they're leaving behind. Like they'll stay on their deathbed until they sort things out. The nurse knows this, as they've been dealing with them for their whole career. And sometimes they need reassurance that loved ones can accept their death before they can let themselves go. And so it's almost like this conversation has allowed this to happen in a way, comfortably. So the nurse says, do you want to hear how your wife feels when you say that? The husband says yes. And so here the wife joined the conversation so the three of them are all sitting together, but the wife starts the conversation. And then in the continued presence of the nurse, the couple began to express themselves openly to each other. In this dialogue, the wife began with a complaint about the physical therapist. However, after a series of exchanges during which she felt empathically received, she was able to determine that what she really sought was a deeper connection with her husband during this critical stage in their lives. And so that's a good example of how a nurse has to, like, they're in this situation where they're like a psychologist, trying to sort it out, but like often people can't express their needs or feelings, and they get expressed in anger or judgment. And as soon as the nurse asked enough questions, and then opened it up to realize that it's really about the fact that her husband's dying, and that you know, and because the nurse asked the questions, and the husband got to express himself as well. So both parties got to express. The husband got to say, "No, I'm not worried about dying. So what are you worried about?" And then he says, "Well, I'm actually worried about how my wife's going to be after I die." You know, and then so it's like it solved. The nurse solved the thing for both parties as an intermediary. So like this works whether you're with multiple parties or whether it's just you talking to someone else. So I hope I read that out all right. It's very powerful. Like, and these are real things. So this came from an account from a nurse that this happened, and so um, if if people are trying to often they can't express their emotions properly or their needs or their feelings, so it's just it'll get expressed in anger or judgment. um, I love it. Oh, look, yeah, I'll check out Marshall B. Rosenberg on there. Just skip to the last comment. Are you sure? Says thanks for sharing. Yeah, no worries. It's oh, Sky's leaving. I didn't see that. Jamie says massage your vagus nerve about 3 inches behind your left ear to relax your tinnitus. Like here, yeah, that was in that book I read. Like there, like at the back of your skull, or is it like there? That's a really good one. Thanks, Jamie. Because that was a really good book I read that had vagus nerve stuff, and I need to do more of that. So that actually does your ear. That one, actually, the one at the back of your skull there, that does the vagus nerve that goes down to your back, which is all your head movement. So 3 inches back from the ear. Yeah, I love learning all this stuff. Sky says, "Have a good one, everyone." Sky says, "See you next time." Sky's got the heart. Jamie says, "Love Sky." With the hearts. Sky says, "Thanks, Jamie." Red Rose says, "Bye, Sky." MJG says, "Bye, Sky. Thanks." And Sky's obviously already gone by now, so it's taken me so long. Yeah, that's Are You Sure? Enjoy it. And if you ever want to like email me, and like we can do like video or audio practice chats and go through it. You know, if you get the book, and especially, well, this is the workbook which has examples, like, so they really go together. But the book itself has exercises in it at the end of each chapter. So you can just start with the book and do the exercises at the end of each chapter. And then if then you can look at getting the companion book. And you can start with YouTube videos as well. Jamie says, the moment we forget we are forever a student, we are not balanced. That's a really good comment. Jamie says, the fact you picked that passage, you're an angel. Know that, please. It must have just been, it just happened, I flicked through and I was like, it happened that way. And there's so many great examples in there, but isn't that profound how, like, you can totally see that the wife is just upset and she's blaming this other stuff, but it's only because she's worried about this thing that they haven't spoken about. They haven't talked about it. But the thing is, the husband's just as worried as the wife is, for different reasons, Well, similar, but like, Aisha says, I want to be balanced and growth is in me. This is the opposite of me, myself, and I mindset. Yeah, that's a really good comment. That's a great way of thinking of it. It's like there's a separate entity. So it's a continual thing rather than separating the three. Jamie says, are you sure? I believe with the hearts, I believe you, and I like how you worded that. Yeah, that's it. It was worded really nicely. Jamie says, that fact about the nurse knows. Yeah, that's it. It's amazing, isn't it? Like that, how, nurses can be so switched on. And they experience really full on stuff. Jamie's got the hearts and stars. Are you sure? Says, thank you for sharing, Luke. Are you sure? Says, it's frustrating when it stops. And I don't know. Yeah, exactly. And that's it. When that happens, you have to probe. You got to keep asking questions. So it's but you what you have to do is you have to what you have to do then is you have to work out what is the underlying need that's not being expressed. So you have to use your observation skills then. So then you go, okay, what's happening here? Oh, this person's dying. Could it be to do with the fact that what associated with that? And then that can be your next question. And then and that's what you find out in the thing, that it actually takes the nurse three questions to finally get what. And then once they open up, and then as soon as they've opened up, then the nurse says, okay, now are you ready to have this conversation? And the husband and the wife have this conversation that they've been putting off for months or however long. But yeah, it is it is it's amazing how. Jamie says both worrying with a slight timing belt issue between the husband, wife, and nurse. Yeah, that's it. Lol, it makes so much sense to me. Yeah, that's it. And that's the beauty of it is that it um, as soon as you work out what the thing is, then it solves itself in a lot of cases. Um, and it's amazing how um, the person might be really frustrated, and as soon as someone listens to them and acknowledges what's going on, it's like such a relief for that person because that's all they wanted was someone to listen to them, or they weren't being heard. And then so with arguments, accusations will just keep going back and forth, and they can go on for like many years and nothing gets done. But like as soon as both parties hear each other's needs and acknowledge that so the trick is once you hear what someone's needs are, you have to express back to them what it is, and that's why you use the language like so. So what I'm hearing is that you feel like you're not being listened to. Are you? And that you're frustrated and that's why you're angry. And it's like, so it's amazing stuff. So yeah, if you going down the pathway of um, learning the stuff, like we can get in contact and practice because that's how you learn too is doing role plays. So one person takes the role of one person, the other person takes the role of another person, and for conflict resolution, you could have multiple people. You might have 3 or 4 people doing the role play. So amazing. I think I think it's already done. It's already made the world better, and it's just going to get better too. So um, eventually, it'll because it's always been there. Really, this is the thing. Like he created this thing, but it was always there in the sense that people had these skills to communicate like this. We just don't do it. We forget to do it, and as soon as you do, then it fixes things. It's amazing. Sure says, yeah, I'll email you, and I'm so happy to hear your passion. Awesome. I look forward to email and like, um, yeah, we can go through some, um, especially if you get you don't necessarily need to get the book, the workbook. You can just get this one, and then we can do exercises because each chapter's got its own chapter in here. So it's but yeah, it's really, really amazing. It's now I've started, it's just going to keep going with it, you know. Jamie says, I work in communications in a loud world, and this was perfect to help me with some introspection this season. Awesome. Yeah, that must be like working within that field must be a complicated um, thing, and because you're working, but you have to deal with the way other people communicate, and then sort of, so it's like your job, and then like you say, like it's a loud world we live in, so it is, yeah. Um, so yeah, having these methods and techniques is really powerful, especially if that's your role for work. Like you'll be able to use it every day. And Jamie says, I'm a medicine woman and work with a vast array of personalities. Yeah, there you go, exactly. So that's why you said it was perfect one to read out. So it is amazing. And I saw a interview with Gabo Mate, the trauma expert. That um, he's a survivor himself, and yeah, it was amazing. He was talking about a book that was actually written by an Australian woman, I think, who was an Australian nurse, and the book's all about what people say on their deathbed, and it sounds fascinating, and it sounds like a really powerful book because it's like all of these people's accounts, and um, I think what he was saying was the biggest thing that people regretted was not actually living their life that they wanted to do. You know, it's like they regretted. Yeah. Oh, you know the book. There you go. I'm going to write that down because that might be a good book for me to read because I remember hearing about the book. So awesome. Well, it's probably we'll probably wind the stream up in the next minute or so. It's been a really nice conversation tonight. Um, like really awesome, and it sort of turned around for me because yesterday I went to do that stream when I really wanted to like let out all these negative experiences that I'd gone through, and I had all these technical difficulties, and so it sort of turned out. Um, yeah, I can see this. So it did freeze, but it didn't. Maybe it didn't freeze for all of us. Um, so Red Rose says, "Yeah, stream is frozen my end. If you can see this, I send each one of you much love and light. Most sincerely, Red Rose." I return the sentiments. They're beautiful. Much love and light, Red Rose. Jamie says, "I can see it, Red Rose, with that roses and the hugs." So maybe it just was sort of glitchy for a bit. So yeah, um, yeah, I look forward to practicing NVC. Are you sure? And Jamie, it's been a great conversation. And are you sure? MJG, Sky's already gone. Red Rose just left, and I think Resonant Reflections, she might have gone too as well. But yeah, everyone's saying goodbye to each other now. MJG says bye, sweet. The roses. That's beautiful. Are you sure? Says yeah, much love, Red Rose. Yeah, it was nice, really nice conversation, and like we all had a great time. Yeah, I'm just like thinking back at all the stuff we talked about, and it's a lot. Jamie says, "Yeah, I'll be back. I enjoyed this very much. Gratitude to you, Luke." Thank you so much, Jamie. Yeah, and I return the gratitude. You know, like so good to meet you and like hear about your how your journey with being doing what you do. You know, like teaching and working and being a parent at the same time, and dealing with the CPTSD, and because it's something that I know you can heal. You can heal from it. I've gotten pretty far along the way with some things, but then I still have, you know. So I still have difficulties with stuff. MJG says it was great time spending with you, Luke, and all, of course, love you all. Return the love to you too, MJG. So good to have you here, and it has been a really nice evening, hasn't it? Well, afternoon for you. Jamie says, I still want to move off grid in a tree house, but I've learned how to manage all my life. Yeah, that's totally, dude. That's what I want to do. I want to go live in the forest somewhere, in the mountains, halfway between like a valley and a river. You know, my dad told me he bought me a what do you call it, a voucher card for Google Books so that I could get Thoreau's Walden, Henry David Thoreau's Walden. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm going to read it. MJG says, yeah, lunchtime o'clock. Yeah, nice. Well, enjoy your lunch, MJG. And I'm going to go get some, I might have like fruit and muesli because my time clock's all different. So my dinner might be opposite. Jamie says, I say treehouse in the summer and a cave in the winter. Even better, brother. That's exactly it. That's my dream. Very much the same. Very much the same. So yeah, we'll see. We'll all see each other. Yes. MJG says yes. See you. We'll all see each other next Sunday. Like I do a Sunday stream, same time every Sunday, and I often do a Saturday stream. So Jamie says I'm heading to bed here on the plains. Yeah, that's it. It'd be pretty late now. It'd be like 4 a.m. or 3 or 4 a.m. or something. So yeah, good night, Jamie. It was really good to meet you, MJG. Everyone else who's here, it's been a really awesome chat tonight, and I look forward to the next one.